Hello again, everyone. So, as per usual, coming here to discuss some things, discuss the vibes. This is a spiritual channel. I'm always discussing things of a spiritual or an occult nature. I tie in mundane things to spirituality. I connect the dots. I say what I see and what I feel. Sometimes it's my opinion, sometimes it's just, what I'm observing. But all in all, again, this is the Most High Tarot. Okay. This isn't religious Most High. This is the spiritual Most High. Okay. And maybe I should be a little bit more intentional with like scheduling out like when I'm going to do lives. Um, but again, because a lot of times I'm just going on what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, what I'm channeling, I just kind of have to go with spirit and sometimes have to go with the flow. And I don't always know when I'm going to get the urge to go live and discuss something. So the beautiful thing is, you don't have to be here when I'm going live, but you can always listen to these things um, when you get the chance. Uh, and I don't want to get into social media, the ways they try to block certain people from giving content. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to get into it. If you can hear this, you can hear it. If you can't, you fucking can't. I'm not here to get into certain things. At least not right now. I don't feel like getting into that. So what I wanted to kind of get into, um, karma and spiritual agreements, and it's a lot going on. And also, I wanted to unpack some of the readings that I did. I didn't do tarot readings last month, but I put some up for this month, and the vibes were, not gonna lie, really um, chaotic. It's a lot of chaotic energy getting dealt with, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do readings last month because I probably would have been so like concerned that it would have taken my energy away from other things I needed to focus on and try to like reach out to people and be like, what's going on? And that's the reason why I don't. Like, for people that may know me personally, the reason why I kind of keep to myself, or when I am talking to people, like, I don't always want to be talking about spiritual things. I don't want to always be talking about what I'm feeling, because a lot of people that I'm not talking about assume that I'm talking about them. Or if I talk to people on a regular basis, when I talk about what I'm feeling, or what I'm seeing or whatever, people will automatically insert themselves and be like, oh, she's talking about me. And I'm not. I'm not. So I just kind of, I fall back a lot because, like I said, what I'm seeing, like, I've already figured out, like, there are very few people that I can actually talk to. Very, very few that will even, comprehend or be able to wrap their mind around the things that I'm trying to say. So that's another reason why I don't like to have spiritual conversations with too many people. And for me, everything is spiritual. So there's very few people that I talk to. And when I am talking to people, I keep it surface level and I keep it about what people can relate to. Because just because you might, assume that I'm talking about you or not get what I'm talking about and put your own spin on it. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want people to think that I'm um, putting them out there, or that what I'm doing is about anybody in particular. Like, it's about a lot of things. And sometimes it is about people, but I've said what I had to say directly to that person. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to get online and say something and it be indirect. You might not know who I'm talking about, but the person I'm talking about knows who the fuck I'm talking about. because I speak my mind and I always say what's on my heart. Like you're not going to know me and wonder, is she talking about me? If I've had a conversation with you about something, do you know exactly how I feel? So that's why, like I said, I try to be mindful, but I can't guard everybody's feelings. I can't control what people think. Like if you think certain shit is about you, some people are just like that. They think everything's about them. You can't say anything. She's talking about me. She's trying to hurt my feelings. She didn't understand. And a lot of times I'm not even thinking about people. This is like a lot of stuff that I'm talking about is greater than the people that I know. It's connected. Like the things that I say are connected. Where I'm trying to get people to see, it's like I'm connecting dots and getting and try to get people to see how certain behaviors are just or beliefs are just like trash positions and trash behaviors. And we all, and don't get me wrong, we all have them, but for some people, it's some people use their trash positions as like, a way to get over on people or to like insert, because they feel like they're either financially superior, morally superior, or whatever the case may be. And we're coming out of a time where, a lot of things that we were forced to believe, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that it was fucking bullshit. Bullshit. And I've been trying to point shit out for years, but everybody wants to focus on, oh, well, your delivery, or, well, maybe if you spoke English correctly, or maybe if you did, like, what does that have to do with what I'm saying? If all that aesthetic stuff is you're more concerned about my delivery than what I'm saying, you're a trash person. You're a trash person, period. 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 But back to karma and spiritual agreements. And like I said, I wanted to kind of circle back to the readings that I did and um, kind of touch on a lot of what's going on. Because there's so much going on, whether you realize it or not. Like, you got to know that, mainstream media is not going to report on a lot of things. It's a lot of things happening all over the world. And it makes you wonder, which is why I like to point out things. And there are other people with platforms that like to point out things like, why do you think this is? You know, like there has been massive flooding in China, and I have seen very little coverage of it. Like devastating flooding, like apocalyptic level flooding happening in China. And I really haven't seen much reported on it. Now, then again, I don't watch the news. So again, you can find information. You don't have to watch the news to know what's going on. And like I said, the news outlets that I've been watching, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything reported on it. Why is that? Why is that? You know, like with R. Kelly being found guilty and the repercussions that this is going to have. I knew this was going to happen when they threw Bill Cosby's old ass in the jail. I knew like this is, and again, this is mainstream media that we're talking about. They do things for effect, not because they might really believe that Bill Cosby is guilty or innocent. Like that has nothing to do with it. For some people, that's the interest. For some people, that's but for other people, it's what's going to get me traffic. What are people looking to talk about it and you know get their feelings into. But if you take your feelings out of it, again, like I said, for a lot of people, it's I'm fond of this person's work, so they can't be wrong. And you can be fond of somebody's work and they're still wrong. That's very possible. It's logical. It's normal. But a lot of times when it comes to celebrity, because like I said, like the last post I did, I was talking about PR and public relations, and a lot of people don't really understand. If you haven't been in that world, you might not understand, you know, that there's a lot that goes into somebody's image, and a lot of it isn't. necessarily accurate. A lot of it isn't necessarily true. So, there's a reason why when celebrities get famous and there's, such an interest, such an emotional interest, because again, we insert ourselves into our celebrities and live vicariously through them. So a lot of times when these men and even women, gets, the things they've been doing gets drug out there for everybody to see, for some people, you're defending people because if you were in that situation, you would be just as you would violate just like they did. You want the space to be able to have enough power and influence to be able to do fucked up shit too. Is why you sometimes some of y'all just defend these people. And you don't want to admit that to yourself. You don't want to admit that on the inside you're a shitty person. And that's why you defend shitty people. You can't say that. So you're going to be like, no, Bill Cosby was a good man. How do you know he was a good man when you never met this man personally a day in your life? Or some of you may have met him, got an autograph. That's still not knowing somebody. That's still not knowing what somebody's capable of. Having a show and having uh, what you think is money. How does that absolve people? Like I said, it doesn't. But like I said, a lot of you want to one day be in that position. The way it, and so many, like I said, that's why so many things are coming out. And a lot of people, like with the R. Kelly thing, like everybody was like, throw everybody under the jail. And again, y'all are just as much a part of the problem as the people that y'all are saying throw in jail. These are institutional, systematic issues systemic issues that we are dealing with here. Where you have nothing, and then you see people that have everything. You are taught to do what these people are doing. Because they're telling you for as long as I can remember, for as long as capitalism has been been a part of our daily lives, you're encouraged to do and follow the things that people with wealth are doing. So this is especially for a lot of people. Like this is why now it's like, well, why now? I see so many people like, well, why now? So much music. What about such and such? Like this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. Y'all make it specifically about one or two people. People have been talking out about this for a long time. The what about, it's because y'all haven't been paying attention. People been calling foul about this. And the only reason why certain people only focus on certain things is because people have been so ignorant to this shit for so long. Yes, R. Kelly wasn't the only person with scandalous lyrics. No, he wasn't. All of these people started to be held accountable. Rick James was another one. He had a song about a girl only being 17. And he caught hell. He caught hell. And like I said, it's always, nobody's ever caring. Nobody's ever giving a fuck when it's black people. But then when these same powerful black men, when they're fucking over black people and manipulating black families and exploiting their own people, nobody gives a fuck. But as soon as they cross over and they're made to feel like they're included in white society and they start bringing that shit to white people, then you're going to get dealt with. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, I don't understand what's going on. Because when they was doing it to us, nobody gave a fuck. And it's not that white people don't do crazy shit. They just ain't going to let nobody else do it. Which is common fucking sense. Karma. And some people don't believe in karma. It's not even about anything to be believed in. It's universal law. It's common sense. If you mix together flour, sugar, butter, and eggs, and you put that mix in the oven, you're going to get out a cake. You're not going to get out a car. You get back what you give out. That's, if you plant a seed, the seed you plant is going to grow up. It's going to spring out of the ground. It's common sense. It's not even anything that you need to believe in. The energy you give out is the energy that you will get back. That, like, I don't understand why that's so hard for people to think. Like, and the sad part is that because you have so many of these like weirdo, sick, like mentally ill groups of people, because people, like, regardless, like, this is another reason why sometimes when I say stuff and people are like, well, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And this has been the problem. This is why progress has been held up for so long, because instead of people going like, you know what, that's sick and these people need help, you're trying to wrap your fucking mind around it. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. Everything ain't got to make sense to you. Certain shit is fucked up and needs to be dealt with. Why are you sitting down trying to figure the shit out? Why are you trying to make sense of it? It doesn't make sense. These people are fucking sick. Period. What are you trying to make heads or tails of? This is the fuckery. Again, this is why shit takes so long. Like, we could have been so much further along as people, as a country. It's so far along. But again, people always wanted, like, because they're attached in ways that they don't want to admit to the fuck shit. So it's this willful ignorance. I'm a play dumb. Well, it doesn't make sense to me. Well, if it did, I would be concerned. Shit doesn't make sense to me either. It's sick. But I don't have time. I'm not going to sit down and try to wrap my mind around it before I acknowledge something needs to be done. But that's how a lot of this fucked up shit works. You have to get people in agreement. That's why, again, and when you keep people in desperate situations, they'll agree to anything. And that's not a fair agreement. That's why so much shit is crumbling, because they got you thinking because you made an agreement that you are responsible, you have to pay, or what. That, no, it was a bogus agreement to fucking begin with. It's like these bogus agreements on your phone. You can't agree to use someone's image and their likeness in certain ways, even if they are agreeing to it. And you use all these words that people can't fucking understand. You can't just put it in clear layman's terms. Just because you get somebody to agree to something that's fucked up doesn't mean it's on them once they realize when the jig is up. That's why, again, I say all of this to warn people, caution, because there's so many people turning away from organized religion and looking to spirituality. And what a lot of these people need to realize is that same fucked up mentality, that same need to power grab, and that same narcissistic behavior leaves the church and goes into spiritual circles too. It's not the religion, it's the people. It's not the spirituality, it's the people. And the narcissism that has been following us through lineages and empires and dynasties for hundreds and hundreds of years. Narcissism isn't new. We just have a name for it so we can finally fucking tackle the shit. Narcissism is what a lot of these emperors were doing by having sex with their family members because they don't want nobody else to get in on the wealth. Narcissism. Narcissism is knowing that, everybody where you live is hungry and doesn't have access to resources, but you'll keep it. You know that there's access and you know that there's resources, but you'll keep it from these people because you want to feel like you're powerful. Doesn't matter that people are dying. Doesn't matter that people are sick, and for in avoidable ways. Not saying that life is going to always be perfect, but a lot of things can be helped. Like a lot of things are avoidable. A lot of the tragedy that we see, a lot of it is fucking avoidable. But it's not going to be avoidable because, like I said, people want to exploit people. Like I said, this ancient narcissism, this ancient um, uh, behavioral patterns in the minds of people has been around for a long time. Like I said, a lot of people like to romanticize history. That's in the past is where a lot of this bullshit got started. And it's starting to catch up to people now. Like, again, spiritual agreements, like be very mindful of what you agree to, especially when it comes to spirituality. Because a lot of people make a, like I said, like shit with your phones, and a lot of that is bogus agreements. But some people make serious agreements, and it's not so easy to get out of them. You have to be mindful of the agreements that you make, because if you don't pay up, these spirits will come to the next generation. They'll come after your kids. They'll come after your grandkids. They'll come after your great grandchildren until somebody pays. So be mindful. Be mindful. What vibe are you on? Because that'll determine the outcome of whatever it is you're trying to do. And you have to be honest with yourself. And I say this all the time. You got to keep it real with yourself. Say, if you want attention, say that. Say, you know what, well, and even if it's just to yourself. I just wanted to start this YouTube channel. I like attention. I want to, make money. I don't really, have anything to offer. I don't really have any gifts or talents, but, I'm just going to be on here, doing bullshit. Say to keep that to you. Keep it real with yourself. Keep it real with yourself. Because that's how a lot of people get caught up. Lying to yourself. Sometimes that's the greatest spiritual experience you can have. The greatest spiritual agreement that you can make is the one you make with yourself. Being honest with yourself is spiritual. Sometimes that's the most spiritually mature thing anybody could ever do. Be honest with yourself. And if you can't be honest with yourself, something's wrong. And some people can't. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people don't know how to really like be introspective and look themselves in the eyes and be like, bitch, I'm fucked up. I got fucked up habits. I'm a fucked up trifling ass bitch. Some of y'all can't do that. Instead, y'all got to come up with all kind of excuses and reasons why you do the things that you do. But your agreements will be waiting for you. Even like I said, the shit you do on your own, the shit you agree to in your own mind. Like I said, just because you can't be honest with yourself doesn't mean that there isn't any accountability coming with that. There is a level of maturity and ethic that you have to have when you are spiritual. You can't just hop in here thinking, especially if you don't understand. Because of chaos and chaos magic and there is no this there. You don't fucking know. Like that doesn't make any sense. Especially people like there's no balance. We wouldn't even be here. None of us would be here. Just because you don't understand certain things mentally, that doesn't mean that there isn't any balance. Just because you don't understand how the things that you can't see balance things, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Again, there is you have to have an ethic with spirituality, and I don't mean like keeping up with other people. You have to do what is in your vibe to do, what is in your energies to do. And some of you are spiritual warriors. Some of you are here to fuck certain people up. That got to come in. So that might be what you're here to do. Do some spiritual work on people that's been getting over on people. But instead, y'all the one getting over on people. Like I saying, I'm not saying that there isn't free will. You can do whatever you want to, but just understand. I'm just talking consequences and repercussions. Because what I find funny is that when there's consequences and repercussions, all of a sudden, that's when all the fucking excuses and well this and well that. Know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Like I said, some of y'all are just dead inside. Some of y'all are walking dead. There is no rhyme or reason. You just feed off people energy, and that's it. Be mindful of your agreements. Be mindful of your agreements. And we see how the shit is playing out. And so, like I said, in so many different ways. I'm not saying you have to be this like great person and, oh, love and light and, oh, I wouldn't hurt a fly. And because that's not realistic either. That's not realistic either. The problem is, well, a lot of you is what a lot of people, and it's been my experience that a lot of people just don't like conflict. A lot of people don't like confrontation. A lot of people just, they don't want no smoke, or they know they're wrong. So they try to make it seem like, you know, you wanting to confront them is somehow you're wrong. That when they go low, we go high. Fuck that. How you gonna go in the opposite direction somebody trying to take you in? They went low, you go low. Turn the other cheek bullshit. Like I said, that religious thing to try to make you feel like you're somehow morally superior to other people because you don't like conflict. Meanwhile, people fucking you up, and they got you thinking it's something morally superior if you just ignore it, turn the other cheek, and just pray for people. That's the narcissistic handbook. And some of you are narcissistic and you don't want to admit it. That's why you don't like people that are direct and that speak their minds. Because you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to, you don't have the emotional maturity to hear something that you don't like and be like, you know what? Okay, I don't have to like it. But is what this person's saying the truth? Is what they're saying accurate? Never mind how they're saying it. If you're always worried about how somebody is saying something, you're a narcissist. You're dealing with narcissism. If everything has to be spelled correctly and all the I's have to be dotted and the T's have to be crossed and the accent has to be right and every word has to be pronounced well and it has to be wrapped and packed, you're a narcissist. And you don't have the emotional maturity to deal with real life. So you hide in love and light. You hide in your church and you hide in organized religion. Because you can't handle the truth. You can't handle people having a different way of saying something. You can't handle honesty. You can't handle somebody pointing the finger at you. You can't handle somebody having a different opinion than you. That's why I tell I say this all the time. Don't trust them love and light people. Don't trust all that love and light. These are people again that are just scared of conflict or afraid of conflict or using niceness and sweetness and being friendly to get over. This is why certain people don't like people like me. Your niceness and your friendliness don't mean shit to me. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to get along. That's normal. Stay away from people that try to make it seem like conflict is something wrong with you because you have a strong opinion and you know how to point shit out. Stay away from people like that. Stay away from all that love and fucking light. These people get you caught the fuck up. And it's sad too. It's like I said, look, you just look at everything that's going on. And what's so funny, I remember when I was younger, and I remember I was, in church and just questioning things. And, I always like to read, which is, again, when you're a type of person, you like to read and you like to think, it's hard for people like that to stay in organized religion their whole life because you like to think and you like to read. So your mind is already open, but, when I was younger and, I was in church and there were so many, um, things that I was just questioning. And, I remember I was in the bookstore. I think it was Borders in the gallery at the time. And, I was just looking for other spiritual things to read besides the Bible. Like at that point, I had already read the Bible from cover to cover. And, I have an exhaustive concordance and, all the things that, I felt like I needed to really read and understand and comprehend the Bible. So I wanted to move on because I really felt like the Bible was some weirdo shit. That, I'm like, okay, I'm reading it and it doesn't, you know, it was just a weird vibe to me. So I'm like, well, what else? I need more. I need to, you know, what else is there to spirituality besides organized religion in the Bible? And of course, I wasn't really understanding that in those days. Like these corporate bookstores, we're not going to have but so much, at that time. And I was coming across what is this lady's name? She was like the queen of love and light, the queen of the new age spirituality. She was like female Jesus, and that was this lady's name, Doreen Virtue. She was white female Jesus. She was the female Jesus of her time. And even though she was like, you know, in her day, like in the early 2000s, she was on like, light worker stuff, like books like The Light Worker's Way and Angel Numbers. And it was like very love and light and, you know, um, anti religion. And she even had books on like hermetics and um, Egyptian gods and like all kind of stuff. And only for her to, get to the end of her career, be like, okay, I'm Christian now. Then she was always Christian. That's what I mean. Like just because somebody is putting out a book, like and again, I advise people to read all the time, but common sense is understanding that just because somebody wrote a book doesn't mean that they don't have an agenda or doesn't mean that what's in that book isn't necessarily accurate. So you got to read with that intention. And a lot of people read thinking, oh, it's in a book, so it has to be true. It might not be, especially a lot of these Christian books. A lot of Christians write books based on how they feel and based on what they believe, not what they know, because their religion is what they believe. They don't even know about their religion. It's just what they believe. I believe this. It's how I was raised. I've had some spiritual experiences, so this is what I believe. And they don't actually know. But, you know, a lot of Christians write books and it's just, based on, well, this is my interpretation of scripture, or this is my interpretation of my relationship with Christ. This is my interpretation of blah, 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 blah. And it's not like really based on anything. Like I said this before, but a good book has bibliography in it. A good book is going to point you to, where this person got this information from and not just this is my interpretation, this is what I think, and this is what I feel, and this is my opinion. Some tea on that one. But read what you want, but again, I try to reference books that have good bibliography in it, books that are based on more than somebody's interpretation and feeling, which, I don't mind reading that too. And sometimes I'm interested in knowing what people think and what people feel, and people's interpretations of everything. It doesn't always have to be hard science and hard facts. I want to read about what people think and what people feel, but again, I'm talking about, people with agendas, like people that have a habit of using certain topics because it's easy to get people to go down that way. Like, a lot of people are out here and nobody has ever taken the time to um, get them to understand who they are. And it's a lot of people out here that are just really lost and want to be led. There are a lot of people that want to be led. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that, if you're a person out here and you don't have all the answers and you're looking for somebody to lead you a certain way, please don't take that as being weak. Please don't take that as being stupid. Like, everybody in their life at some point needs to be led, whether by your parents or somebody else, or you're new to the job or whatever it is. We all need leadership at some point in our lives. The problem comes when people keep when you need leadership and people keep you ignorant so they can exploit you, use you, harm you, abuse you, or whatever else come out of that. That's what I'm always speaking out against. I'm never here to beat people over the head and all this, because like I said, we all need guidance or leadership at one point in time, but it's the way that people exploit those people and feel justified in doing it. Like, well, you shouldn't be ignorant. We're all ignorant to something. We're all ignorant to something. Again, and then these people get caught up. Man, like I said, them readings I put up for this month, like I said, the energy is real interesting. Like I said, I'm picking up on people getting into confrontations and people wanting to hurt people because of behaviors. Because of behaviors. Like, people really think they can be out here throwing curses on people, throwing hexes on people, taking people money, taking people man, taking people woman, and that shit ain't gonna catch up to you. You have to give an account for your energy and how you use it. Even the Bible talks about this. And for you Bible loving people, doesn't the Bible talk about the gifts you get from God and what you do with it? And so somebody had talent and one of them put it in the ground, and somebody had talent and somebody, I don't remember the exact words, but there's scripture that talks about that, of using your gifts wisely, or giving God an account of what you do with the things that God gave you. That's another example of karma. When it's in the Bible, you'll suck it up. When it's not in the Bible, it's the devil, and you lying, right? Okay. You have to give an account. How you interact and treat and use other people's energy, you have to give an account for that. Just like you got to give an account for how you choose and treat your own energy. Even if that accounting is to yourself. Like with forgiveness, a lot of people are always on, you have to forgive. If you want to move on in life, you have to forgive. No, the fuck I don't. If I want to move on in life, I'm going to move on. Forgiveness and moving on are two different things. And if I feel like you have misused my energy in any type of way, I'm not forgiving you until you have made that exchange right. If it's no different, like with a lot of these, institutions and shit like that, you know, there is no loan forgiveness. We're not going to forgive this debt until you have made it whole. Now, if for whatever reason you incurred this debt, like I said, some people are exploiting, and there shouldn't be a debt to begin with. Know this. Let me make something clear. Some of you owe these spirits, and some of these spirits owe you. Know that. Know that. Some of you owe these spirits, and some of these spirits owe you. And you need to know who you are in order to figure out where you land on that spectrum. Some of these spirits owe you, and some of you owe these spirits. So you got to know which is which. Like I said, it's student loans. Ain't that spiritual about that? Money and capitalism, ain't nothing spiritual about that. So when it comes to those things, because a lot of people have been getting over and creating these false social contracts, for that reason, these spirits owe us when it comes to that. Because we've been giving our blood, our sweat, our energy, our time, our resources, and we haven't collected anything. So for a lot of us, these spirits owe us. But for some of you, y'all got to pay these spirits. Do you even know the difference? Do you know the difference? Do you know if you got spiritual energy coming to you, or do you know if somebody's going to come to collect? Do you know the difference? Like I said, this shit is real. That's why so many things are changing. It said, so much ignorance is being illuminated. These contracts, like I said, the contracts are real. And there's a book. I'm even hesitant to give the name of the book. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to give the name of the book, only for the simple fact that there's so many people that like to sit here and fucking act like, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. And then they sit here and dick ride what I'm saying and try to absorb everything that I'm saying and make it seem like they did it themselves. I'm going to read a little bit from this book, but if you know, you know. Like I said, I try to be intentional with the things that I say. Like I said, it's a lot of fraudulent ads, and also, also there's when it comes to karma and spirits and stuff like that, and protecting your energy. I have demonic protection over my energy. So I don't like arguing with people. I'm not here to argue with people and go back and forth. My shit is demonically protected, and that's just all I'm gonna say about that. But agreements are there's a book about agreements, spiritual agreements, and it was some of the truest shit that I had ever read. But again, I don't like to, because like I said, there are a lot of people out here that aren't on a certain level spiritually or just as far as their maturity, and I don't want to put anybody in a space where you get your energy fucked up trying to be something that you're not. Which is why I said it's important for you to know who you are when you get into spirituality. Because a lot of people, like I said, just want to compete, or they see somebody else and they have a business. Spirituality is not business. Now, I'm not saying that you can't make money off of spirituality, but it is not a business. It is a service, it's not a business. But I ain't going to get into that. Like I said, if you know, you know. But this book, like I said, is one of the most accurate on spiritual agreements. And like I said, I'm not going to give the name because, like I said, people will then hop out here and be like, this book, this. Other people have talked about this book. Other people have put, like I said, you are like me and you grew up on Bobby Hemmett. This book, you know about this book. But like I said, Bobby Hemmett put out a lot of books. And all people do is just regurgitate everything Bobby Hemmett said instead of like really applying the knowledge to their life. So this is why I'm not giving out this particular book, only because, like I said, the information in it is accurate and this book is very powerful. And if you're not ready for the level of spiritual knowledge and insight that's in this book, you could possibly, like I said, I don't want to be responsible for people having mental health issues or stuff like that. Like I said, you have to go in this um, with a pure heart and looking to just understand instead of looking to, you know, um, grab information so that you can use it for yourself if your intentions are good. Like I said, because we all look at information and want to use it for ourselves. But like I said, it's when your intention isn't right. But the book talks about spiritual agreements and if you should make them or not. And it's so funny because this book was written. When was this book written? And it's so, I didn't even want to pull it. I've had this book for so long and I've read it so many times that the pages are like falling apart. But when was this book written? This book was written in 1993. And the things that they're saying is like, this book was so ahead of its time. It really was way ahead of its time. The introduction alone is powerful. Like I said, I'm going to read it and then, say what you want. Like I said, certain things I don't want to get into because of, like I said, just the way things are. But you'll understand when, like I said, when I read a little bit of it. But again, this book is about spiritual agreements and if you should make agreements with spirits or not. To write a book such, and again, I'm not taking credit for this book, but again, I'm not going to say what the book is or who wrote it because you can figure out this information for yourself. And that's what I want you to do. Hear what I'm saying, and you can easily figure out and how to get your hands on this book if you so choose. But like I said, this book is not for newbies. It isn't for, like I said, just be mindful. But again, this is a book on should you make spiritual agreements or not. And it says to write a book such as this in today's repressive environment is either an act of courage or stupidity. We do not know which. Yet we have a sense of what our folly represents. From the point of view of reputation, it may be an act of stupidity. But from the point of view of liberating mankind from slavery, it may be an act of courage. The problem of evil is an ancient one. It would be simple to invert the meanings of good and evil and let our work rest on that worn out maneuver. We will not do this. Instead, like our adversaries, we shall assert that the struggle between good and evil is simply a struggle about the role of man in the universe. Is man free or is he property? Man has almost always been property to one degree or another. A piece of property can be used by its owner, sold, leased, or rented. A free man cannot be treated this way unless, of course, he consents. Let me read that again. A free man cannot be treated that way unless, of course, he consents. A free man can take his own life. A free man can ingest what he wills and lives as he sees fit. He can choose to help another or not. If he chooses to live with others, we assert that he must obey one rule: not to initiate violence to get what he wants. Thus, evil, if such a term is needed, is simply for us the initiation of violence. This is, of course, what the government and the church do to you if you disobey, since they have acquired a monopoly on legitimate violence. Thus, though we promise not to invert the classical meanings of good and evil, we inadvertently have. An important quality of evil, as it is commonly understood, is that people are hurt. This fact cannot be helped. To give up being a free man in order to not be hurt is no guarantee that bad things will not happen. Besides, it is the act of a coward. Every modern government makes a social contract, a pact, without, of course, the consent of the populace, that it will protect and care for its citizens if they give up their right to care for themselves. Each government has certain sectors of human life which belong to it, and things which do not. Government has taken for itself the monopoly on initiatory violence. For example, you can own property as long as you pay taxes. This is ownership based on the contingency of obedience. Thus, in one sense, no one owns property. The government provides for taking your property by force if necessary. If you don't pay your taxes by claiming that, you have violated the social contract, i.e., the common good. This refusal to obey by a magical act of metaphysics is transformed to the right to do violence. To promote the idea of a social contract, something other than overt power has to be invoked to make the contract absolute and inviolate, rather than simply arbitrary. This power is usually God, or in the case of America, the will of the people, together with their vision of God. Thus, for men to accept their status as property, a metaphysical assertion is needed. Some principle is required which can both stir and terrify people. Also, a history is necessary to legitimize keeping people as property. Each government or church has its particular wonder stories, which are fed to children when their critical faculties are weak. At the base of all evil empires is the ability to inflict punishment. Without it, the slave would be less inclined to obey. To refuse the services of the politician, the priest, or the psychiatrist is an insult to them. To negotiate for yourself, to be your own priest, your own psychiatrist, your own politician, is sacrilege, insanity, or criminality. What label they apply to you is a function of who has the most power as well as the accident of who apprehends you first. And are free as long as you obey society. Each mediator, politician, psychiatrist, and priest are in competition, but they also cooperate in a larger sense to assure that society, their power structure, is being served. Regardless of which of the three is deciding what to do with you for violating the prevailing customs of normalcy, someone is deciding for you. You are an object that is being processed. You are not a real person, but simply a function, a piece of property. Most people rarely experience this because as long as you don't violate the rules of society, your real status as property is not invoked. Yet deep within each of us, we are aware of how little it takes to come to the attention of the authorities. Once they focus on you, your status as property is revealed and you are processed, thus revealing your status as a non-person. So I read all of that to say and to tie in about agreements and why you need to be careful and why some agreements are bogus. And we're realizing that now because the will of the people has been shifted. Like I said, a lot of people have been seeing through certain things. A lot of people have been um, fighting and making sacrifices that spirit is starting to honor. You can't control people's will. Like I said, this is why I'm tying this in. Like I said, certain agreements are bogus. You can't you can't manipulate the will of the people. Like I said, this is why so many things are changing. And this is why the plays are so easy to predict because people have been on um, this manipulation for so long. It's predictable. It's predictable. And now we're at a point of critical mass where people are tired of being manipulated just to be able to have their basic human rights need, their basic human survival needs met. Like I said, that is not something you can manipulate people into agreeing to, giving up the rights to those things. This is why I mean by some people owe the spirits and some spirits owe the people. Now you can get into what spirits and where and what they govern and what they're over, but the bottom line is the truth of what I'm saying is still there. So if you are a Christian, I would advise you to think about that agreement. Just think about the things that you agree to. Think about the, everything. Like I said, like what I just read, like listen to it again. And like I said, where do those words take your mind? And this book was saying like this is the reason why you should make certain agreements with certain spirits. If for no other reason, then you have the freedom to do that. And that's a big issue, especially right now with everything that's going on. The right to choose, the freedom to choose. And some people are so afraid that it's like, I don't care about that. No, no, the corona. Oh my God, the virus. Blah, blah, blah. You're afraid. There's always been viruses. There's always been viruses. Guess what? People get sick. That's something that we need to understand. Like I said, that you cannot, just because you agree to something doesn't mean that, the thing that you agree to won't happen, or there won't be consequences. People get sick. This is what people need to understand. Again, this is why there's always so many battles. No, eat this. No, you should eat this. What do you want to eat? Oh, get medical help. Don't get medical help. What do you feel like you need to do? It's like, yes, take information, get information and then make an educated decision. Yeah. But none of us are going to always make the best decision. That's just not real life. That's just not real life. Wherever you stand on it, even with everything that's going on with the vaccine, whatever, where do you stand on it? Do you feel like that's good medical care? Then get it. Do you feel like it's not good medical care? Then don't. I'm not going to start no campaign about what people should do with their own bodies. That's for you to decide what you should do based on how you feel and the information you get. That's the beauty of having the power to choose. Y'all are weirdos. A lot of y'all is so fucking weird. Guess what? People get sick. There is no diet that somebody could possibly tell you about. There is no supplement that you could take that's going to keep you well 100% of the time, every day, all day, your whole life. Because when you are not feeling well, that is your body's way of letting you know something's not right and we need you to change something. Or your body telling you, you tried that, but I don't like it. Don't give me that anymore. Use wisdom, use common sense. Stop letting people, make it seem like if you do this, oh, you'll enjoy good health all your days. Health is a state of mind. And what affects your state of mind is things like being controlled, not being free to express yourself, being taken advantage of, being harmed, being used, being taken advantage of. That's what will affect your state of mind. And when that affects your state of mind, your health is then affected. This is why so many Black people have so many health issues. We're carrying generation after generation after generation after generation of trauma, psychological warfare, physical violence. So this is why a lot of things have more of a negative health impact on us than other people. Our ancestors have been smoking forever. Forever. There's not a point in time where you can't go back and find niggas smoking something. Whether on this continent, Africa, Asia. People find things around their environment and figure out what they are useful for. Some herbs are good for medicine, some are not. Some are poison. It can be used as a weapon. Again, it's about understanding your environment. There isn't one way, there isn't one answer. And this is what people they have had people on. Like I said, with all these weird diets, sugar free this, sodium free, fat free, meatless, sodium free. What else? And all of these things are on the food or the ingredients. Everything they told you shouldn't eat is on the ingredient list. It's like part of, like, all these things are a part of everything that we eat. So again, what should you do? Are you going to give up sugar because everything on the news is saying sugar is bad for you, and now they're putting sugar free everything everywhere? How do you feel when you eat sugar? Because if regular sugar ain't good for you, if the artificial version ain't going to be better. If butter isn't good for you, the fake version ain't going to be better. Like I said, people just want to, jump on stuff just because everybody else is saying, oh my God, no, don't shop here, shop here. The food's organic. How the fuck do you know that? Like that's another label. That's another gag. And what's so crazy is that I see people. I've seen. I used to work in Center City, and I would see homeless people all the time, and they have a diet that a lot would kill a lot of y'all. And these people walking around fine. What is it to you? What are these things in your mind, or are you just going off of somebody else's, will of what they want you to believe about it? Because again, there's no such thing as perfect health. Like somebody, you could get hurt, you can get in a car accident, you could fall down the steps, you could choke. Like there's no such thing. Like it's like there's a risk with everything. Stop being so scared. You're not going to get through this life unscathed. Nor should you want to. Sometimes that's where your growth and maturity, where you find your growth and maturity by making mistakes, by trying things. Now, of course, there's certain things that I'm not going to try. There's certain drugs that I'm never going to try. I saw, certain family members get fucked up. So it's like, I'm not stronger than them. I'm not smarter and stronger than them. If it fucked them up, it's going to fuck me up too. That's common sense. That's common sense. Do things in moderation. Do what you love. You're not going to get through this life unscathed. This is not about living every day feeling, like you're perfect. None of us are. Stop being so scary. As I said, this is how they strip away certain aspects of our culture. Oh, it's not healthy. Bitch, I ain't trying to be. I'm trying to do what I enjoy. If your mind is healthy, that's all you have to worry about. Of course, like I said, I mean, not only, but like I said, you like use some common fucking sense and stop being so scary with everything. And be okay with other people doing things that you don't agree with. Like a lot of people don't agree with that man. What is his name? I think his last name is Hart, and he's doing like this world tour now about promoting drug use and adults using drugs. And I don't disagree with him. I don't, because at the end of the day, people are going to use drugs, no matter how you feel about it. So yes, people should be able to get quality drugs without have to worry about going to jail and losing their kids and all this other kind of shit. Now, if recreational drug use isn't for you, mind your business. Don't listen to him. Don't buy his book. But if you like to get high, listen to what he's saying. Buy his book. Because I agree. Like I said, there's certain drugs that I don't ever want to use, but I respect people's right to do what they want to do with their bodies. And like people like to judge and say, "Oh well, this. Oh well, that. Oh well, there's so many people. There's overdoses and oh okay." Like I said, you're not going to get through this life unscathed. It's like little kids. It's good for little kids to go outside and play and scrape their knees. And when my son was a kid, man, I stayed in the emergency room. He was always jumping off of something, and him and his friends, playing games and coming home with cuts and bruises. And man, that's good for kids. It's good. And y'all crack me up being so worried about people. Y'all love sports so much. Yeah, y'all have no, y'all like these men, are putting their physical health on the line. They're harming their bodies to entertain everybody. Y'all don't have a problem with that. Where's the medical outrage there? Where where's all the do your research people when it comes to sports? Because the research has been done and y'all still quiet about that. They've done research. Oh, and a movie came out about it, about how these athletes are doing damage to their brains, but there's no outrage on that. Nobody's saying anything about that. Okay. And again, like I said, these men. This is why all the people like don't pay these athletes. Give the money to the teacher. Give everybody the money. It's not why take from one to give to somebody else. The teachers definitely need to be paid more. But these athletes deserve what they get paid because they're putting their physical bodies on the line. That's what they're agreeing to, and they're making good on their agreement. This is like I said, they're physically putting their bodies on the line to play sports that you love to watch. With the research out here that the damage that it does. Again, these men are this is what these men choose to do, and these women they choose to do this is what they enjoy. They enjoy physically exerting themselves. Now my fat ass to get on the field and get hurt. That's why I don't play sports. It's not for me. And I'm not judging anybody that does. Again, if sports are what you enjoy it and shut the fuck up if you don't. And so it's all of the like I said, be mindful of your energy because people use it to their own selfish, evil means. Like I said, I've said this before, but the black bourgeoisie have done more harm and more damage with their shitty opinions and always being judgmental. No, black people gotta talk like this. We gotta talk like a motherfucking thing. What does that have to do with anything? Why is we're talking about our basic survival needs being met and y'all like, well, talk like this and dress like that? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? This is what I mean by y'all are shitty fucking people. That's a shitty position to have. To think that somebody doesn't talk the way you think that they should, that they don't deserve to have their basic human rights met. You're a shitty person. You're a shitty individual, and somebody needs to tell you that. R. Kelly and Bill Cosby and all these fucking celebrities, and not even just the black ones. Black people only talk about what they know because some of them don't listen to white music. Some of them don't know about what's going on in white culture because they don't immerse themselves in it. Just like it's certain white people that don't know what's going on in black culture because they don't immerse themselves in it. It's not like they're being selective. Some people just don't know. Some people are being selective, but some people just don't know. If you only grew up listening to black music, then you're not going to really that's who you're going to point the finger at. Anybody in that industry doing harmful things needs to be held accountable. I don't give a fuck what race they are. Why do we even need to have that conversation? I'm tired of, oh, black people, only black people do this, or only white people do. Everybody is fucked up. I'm tired of hearing only black people. Everybody is fucked up. Every fucking body. Which is why you see all these different races on the fucking news, especially white people. Like, y'all love to hate black people so fucking much. But your sweet government that you love so fucking much, that you think just makes you just so special and privileged, just lets your open enemy in. Does that make sense to y'all? Dear white people? I grew up with the news telling me that China and Russia were enemies of this fucking country, and now China and Russia is all up in it. Everybody they tell you is your enemy, they slide in here. First was at war with Afghanistan, now they living here. China was gonna blow us all the fuck up, and now all these Asian people is living here and getting money. The government handing them checks. But it's black people, right? Y'all some fucking idiots. That's my gripe with white people. That's why I don't have no respect for y'all either. That's why I don't like to do all this only black people, because y'all know the horrible shit that y'all government is doing, but because y'all get perks and benefits, who gives a fuck? Trash, trash. Children been shooting each other up in school and high school and in college and shit like that, and y'all, oh well, at least we got our guns. And the hypocrisy. You want guns to defend yourself against the government, but the government are the people that y'all ride with and defend to get the privileges that y'all fucking get. What is it? Which is it? How is everybody they convinced was your enemy or an enemy to this country now here? But y'all still want to make it seem like it's black people that's the fucking problem? Okay. Yes, niggas. Horrible. Like I said, the bullshit. I'm here to point out the bullshit, the hypocrisy, because it's a new day. It is a new day. We are in a new era. We're in a new space and time. We're in a new dimension. And y'all gonna catch up. Like I said, I push it out there. I can't worry about who got good comprehension skills and who don't. If you understand it, you understand it. If you don't, oh well. Start back at square one. But don't argue with me. Don't argue with me, because all your favorite celebrities is going downhill, and everybody walking away from religion, and this is all the shit that you had. Everything that you put your self esteem on is crumbling. That's not my fault. Like I said, I've been talking to niggas, and everybody wanted to make it seem like I know what I was talking about, and I'm crazy. And now look, and some of these very people are now spiritual in the ways that they told me I was going to hell. It was I was listening to the devil, and I was under the devil's influence, or I didn't know what I was talking about, and I couldn't possibly know this, and that's wrong, and it's conspiracy theories and all that. But now look. Again, you can try to manipulate the spirits, and this is the thing. This is the thing. Okay, especially like I said, for you newbies, like most of the time, who I'm really talking to is the young people, because people my age and older are trash. Throw them the fuck away. They're trash. This is why, just trash. This is why for so long the fucking R. Kellys and the Bill Cosbys and whoever else could have such a long reign of control and such access to young children, boys and girls, because the adults co-signed the shit and protected the shit and made sure that kids were being seen and not fucking heard. So I don't give a fuck about anybody over a certain age. Fuck y'all niggas. kids been crying out all these fucking generations, and niggas just want to. I'm always defending the kids, in case y'all haven't figured that shit out yet. That's always another part of the through line that connects everything that I fucking do. Because some of y'all like getting over on innocent people, and children are innocent. And if they come here and they don't seem innocent to you, then it's something in your fucking bloodline. And I've seen children like that, where it's they're so little, but they seem so ahead of their time. It's something in that bloodline. It's behavior patterns in that bloodline that these children have been normalized to the point where they're born predatory. It's been in the bloodline so fucking long. And they've never been an adult man enough or woman enough to fucking deal with the shit. Y'all been so more concerned about your jobs and your money and your title and your car and keeping up appearances and what we look like to everybody else that you was never even worried about these fucking kids. And the shit was normal. The shit was fucking normal. And now society is, everything's collapsing around us, and nobody seems to understand why. Education shit. Kids was never learning anything. Especially in grade school. These kids wasn't learning any fucking thing. You gotta get to college before you start getting your hands on some real good information. Niggas been predators. Nobody had a problem with the shit. Nobody. There's never any problems. Because if it was going to help you get a check, so what? I remember when all that Michael Jackson shit was happening, and I don't know whether Michael Jackson was guilty or not. I don't. But it was a lot of people saying if he was guilty, it didn't matter because at least he had enough money to, if the parents sued, the parents could get their child counseling. That was the takeaway. These was Christian people saying this shit. Christians. Saying as long as the parents was getting a fucking check, it didn't matter what was happening to the kids. That's why the church can fucking crumble and die for all I fucking care. Trashy fucking people. Horrible ass people. And no, not everybody. And I shouldn't have to say that. That's common fucking sense. I hate when people do that. When it's, what about that? I'm a good Christian. Fuck you, bitch. You ain't good. Sit around that shit and act like you don't see shit. Or get mad at me for saying something. You ain't good. All the shit is old. And it's time to let it go. That grip was strong because it was created in a time where people's minds were easily controllable. It's different now. Technology has really sophisticated the brain. And if you don't figure out all the ways how, again, you'll be stuck trying to figure out and getting and having more people again get over on you. Is they've been talking about the prophecies of the return of the old ones, the return of the old gods. For people that don't have these old gods in their bloodline, they have technology now. So they can do things that might make them seem godlike. And if you don't know no better, you get caught up in thinking that these people really are gods. Oh my God, I saw this. I saw them. They they thought about their car, and their car drove around to them, and there was nobody in the driver's side. It was like driving themselves. All that, they can do that with technology. He didn't know language. He didn't know any other languages, and all of a sudden he was speaking in tongues. Guess what? You can have languages downloaded to your brain. A lot of stuff ain't spiritual. Some of it is just man-made technology that you don't know nothing about. But like I said, you know. But yeah, if you don't hear hour 20 minutes. But yeah, like I said, that's just, I wanted to touch on some of that because, like I said, for the babies or the newbies, like I said, even if you might be older than me, but if you're new to spirituality, you're a spiritual baby. So I'm talking to you too. For the spiritual babies, for the newbies, like I said, this is information for you to just listen to and process. Because like I said, it's a lot of people, like I said, that are out here now, and certain people are trying to decide whether they want to leave the church or not, or what's right for them. You know, remember, whatever you base your decision on, base it on you and not what you see. Just because you see a lot of people doing something doesn't mean that it's for you. Just because you see a lot of people on this love and light crystal shit doesn't mean that that's for you. Just because you see everybody out here with tarot cards now does not mean that that's for you. Just because you see everybody out here talking about doing work and, being a part of this and doesn't mean that that's for you. Start off with figuring out who you are. Meditate on who you are and what your gifts and abilities are. It's like I said, so some of you, your spiritual gift might be cooking. You might cook and it ain't got to be a bunch of twigs and berries and leaves. Some of you might cook soul food in a way that when people eat it, whatever was bothering them ain't bothering them no more. But you don't know that until you start cooking and start and see how people respond to it. Not just this tastes good, but I was sick. I had back problems, or I had digestive problems, or I had this skin rash. And you know what? I noticed that after I ate your food, the shit was gone. So maybe you have an ability to heal with your food. And like I said, not vegan. It ain't got to be vegan. It's just because you fucking cooked it. Some of you have a gift to, like I said, to interact with children and take care of children. Some children won't talk out loud to anybody, but they'll talk out loud to you. That's a spiritual gift. Everything ain't about cards, crystals, and candles. I've said that before, and I'm going to keep fucking saying it. But like I said, y'all get into shit and you don't understand it, and it might not be for you. Some of y'all are not called to do spell work. That might not be for you. Like I said, what natural gifts and abilities do you have? And some people have multiple. Some people have more than one. Some people have multiple talents, gifts, and abilities. But again, if you're basic and all you're doing is looking around at what everybody else is doing, you wouldn't know. And I'm not saying not to be inspired by people. I'm inspired by a lot of people. I remember what was this channel? I can't even think of his name. Because there's been a lot of people on YouTube that were doing like synchronicity videos and stuff like that, like really inspiring. But I was already having experiences with synchronicity before I even got on YouTube, before YouTube was even an invention. So it, is making an agreement with the spirits for you. Like I said, look into it. Just because, like, think of it this way. Think of it like you ever go somewhere and you're new somewhere. You might be new to the job or new to the school or new to a church, and it's people around saying, "Oh, don't that person, don't mess with them. They ain't nothing but trouble, girl." and you being your own person, like, you know what, I want to get to know everybody for myself, and you get to know that person and they the dopest person you ever fucking met, and these niggas are just hating assholes. Spirit realm is like that. The spirits out here, everybody, oh, don't mess with the spirits, they ain't no good. And you might get to know these spirits and find out that they are so bomb, and they are some of the most loyal beings, and helpful to you. Get to know it for yourself. Get to know these spirits for yourself. Because some of the worst are not even in the spirit realm. They're right here in the physical with you and I, other fucking humans. Don't be so scared that you discount this just how fucking fucked up and scary human beings are before you scared of the boogeyman and whatever else, the devil and hell, and you scared of that, and human beings will fuck you up faster than any of that fake shit. And again, don't let fear make you make decisions on anything, especially spirituality. This is how so many people get over playing on people's fears. Get to know who you are. That's the most important thing you can do spiritually, is just get to know who you are. Get in touch with you. Yeah, you can listen to other people, but how does that really make you feel? Especially if people want to talk you into joining shit, getting initiated into shit. Think twice. Don't just do it because you see everybody else doing it. How do you feel about it? Are you even that type of person? Would you get initiated in anything else? If you ain't the type, you went to college and you didn't feel like Greek life was for you, what the fuck is you getting initiated in anything else for anyway? Like I said, shit should make sense. Shit should add up. Don't do stuff. It's not in your nature to do something. Don't do it. Like I said, if you are not the type of person to be a part of groups, and you wouldn't be initiated into a fraternity or a sorority, why would you turn around and get initiated into something spiritual? Like I said, not here to say one is right and one is wrong. Like I said, if you're into that type of shit, then go forward. But again, you got to know who you are. Because spirituality is not like Christianity, where you just believe in Jesus and pray and give and try to do good and you're all right. That's not, spirituality is not like that. These spirits might want to interact with you in certain ways that like I said, well, the spirits might, some people say, when it comes to like your offering, or like, let's just say, you got people in your family and they loved, Newports. They might want to smoke a Newport with you. You're like, I don't smoke. What about lung cancer? My lungs. What about this? Bitch, you won't get out of here it's some type of way. Like I said, the goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to do honor your life purpose. Honor your energies, your ancestors. That's what it's about. Now, yes, we all want long life. But like I said, you're not going to get out of it unscathed, nor should you want to. Now, like I said, if that the thought of that frightens you, then like maybe think of something else. Maybe, be atheist. Don't believe nothing. And just do your best to stay safe. If that's the case, if you're worried about that, then don't do anything. Don't be a part of anything. Don't be a part of organized religion. Don't be a part of spirituality. Just focus on safety and the things you can do to be safe, if that's really your main concern. But again, like I said, this is for, this you spiritual babies out here. Like I said, it's people out here that would love to, manipulate you and have you out here doing what they want you to do. Young people really get taken advantage of in that way. Like I said, in my, early 20s, like I said, with so much predatory shit out there. And it's like, it's hard to like, especially now with everything changing, it's like you look back and it's like, well, goddamn, like, man, I survived some shit. It's like I said, it was normal. Predatory behavior was everywhere, especially in the church. This is like I said, them readings that I did, man. Look, like I said, for me, the vibes that I was getting through that whole reading was, like I said, just karma from um, spiritual abuse, spirit being taken advantage of people in the church, or just a lot of these institutions where they really get in your mind, like either the church or academia, like those two places is where a lot of um, like mind control and lies, manipulation, and behavior modification happens. And a lot of people get in those two institutions with the intention to do just that, to take advantage of people, to manipulate people, and to feel like they are in control and in power. So if you have been a part of that, the vibes coming through was that there's people are going to start getting dealt with. People are going to start demanding, to be, compensated for ways that they may have been taken advantage of. Justice being served out to people. Those are the vibes. Those are the vibes. You don't need to be a psychic to see that. Those are the vibes. And y'all know who y'all are. Like I said, I grew up in the church, so I knew the shit. I know the shit is real. Like I said, you can see it. You can see it. I'm not. I don't ever do fear mongering. Like I said, and I try to be very unbiased. Like, this is another reason why. Don't get me wrong. I'm a people person. I love people. But just by what I do, just by divine right of what I do, I keep spiritual conversations and I keep to myself. I keep spiritual conversations on the low. Like I said, unless you bring it up and that's what you want to talk to with me, then I'll talk about it. But just in general, I don't even like to bring up spiritual shit. When I'm hanging out with people or I'm kicking it with my family, let's just kick it. Let's drink. We gonna smoke. We gonna have a good time. We gonna laugh. Whatever. I don't even want to talk about that shit. Because like I said, people get in their minds that I'm talking shit about them, and I'm not. This shit is crazy. It is what it is. It's not personal. Like I said, I make it my business to be non-biased because every sign got their bullshit. Every sign. I'm a fire sign. Fire signs got their bullshit too. And then sometimes I lay down the cards for me, and I'm like, God damn it. That I ain't never putting out nothing harmful to nobody. It is. These are the vibes. Like I said, if you've been doing stuff that makes somebody want to come after you, don't blame me for because the shit is fuck cards. Look at your take again. A huge part of spirituality is being able to be accountable for your own behavior, and that's not even like that. Like I said, there's a lot of people that do these readings out here, and they know good and well that they are trying to, you know, steer people in the wrong way or send bad energy to certain people. I don't do that. I don't do that. Like I said, I go by what I see and not what I feel. And that's what I see. A lot of the shit that I've read, especially, I don't know what's going on with your air signs or people that have air in their chart. But some of y'all, like I said, where are you with the energy? That's why I say that to be clear, because I'm not talking to everybody. I make it clear. This is something that may happen around you. It may not happen to you directly. This may be something going on. It might be something happening at your job. It might be something happening at your church. This is what's happening. Now, if your hands ain't clean, then that's on you. Don't come to me talking about I'm not accurate, bitch. I know I'm fucking accurate, and I don't need to give people times and dates and names. Like I said, I go on vibes because I don't care about a lot of the other trivial bullshit. These are the vibes. I'm telling y'all that these are the vibes. Accountability, justice. These are the fucking vibes. Like I said, some of y'all owe the spirits, and some of the spirits owe y'all. Figure that shit out the best way you know how. But those are the vibes. Like I said, this was for you newbies, you babies. Like I said, worry about you. Figure out what your gifts and your talents are. What are you good at? Figure it out. Because, like I said, the days are over of people, you know, manipulating you just so they can take advantage of you, or wanting you to get initiated into certain things because they can, rob you of your energy. Protect your energy. And like I said, I am here for the newbies, whether you are biologically a child or you're just new to spirituality. My channel is for you because, like I said, it's a lot of fuckery out here, a lot of, you know, people out here, again, just on a pursuit, just out here trying to, get money, and they don't care how they go about doing it. And all I'm saying is that the vibes for being that way are shifting. And the era that we've come out of is over. It's a new era. New vibes, new frequencies, new energies, new spirits, evolved spirits, new entity, evolved entities. Things move around. And there are things like for people who love astrology so much, and I'm not saying astrology isn't accurate. I'm not saying that astrology isn't accurate. Astrology is a deep science, it is a deep African science that has ancient roots before religion turned into the shit show that it is now. Astrology was a part of religion. Spirituality and religion, these things were hand in hand. Science and spirituality was hand in hand at one point in time. Like I said, energy shifts. Things change. Sometimes things change for the worse. Sometimes they change for the better. Like I said, it depends on where we are in space and time. Like I said, there are things that are above, you know, just people on a fucking YouTube channel looking for clicks and views and money. Some shit is above that. So it's been an hour and a half. I pretty much have said what I wanted to say. That's pretty much what was on my heart. Like I said, just talking about karma and agreements and, understanding certain things. And like I said, I wanted to just really kind of unpack the readings that I did uh, for October. And like I said, just kind of clear up the vibes uh, that are coming through. Because like I said, it was intense. Just doing that was another reason why I didn't want to do for each zodiac sign, because the vibes and the energy is so intense that I just didn't have the time to meditate on each individual sign. So I just did the elements, and then even still, like, it was still pretty intense. The vibes are still pretty intense. So I hope, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, that you are learning and growing, because it's always about learning and growing. There's never a destination in your spiritual growth where you're going to have all the answers and you got it all right, and there's nothing else to learn and nothing else to do. That's just not true. So again, keep an open mind, and keep a pure heart, keep the heart of a child, and you know, you'll go far spiritually. But like I said, think twice about things, and make sure you get, you know, information and understanding that makes you feel comfortable. Don't just go by what somebody else is saying. Don't just go by what I'm saying. You know, look into books. And if you want to know what book that was that I read, reach out to me and I will tell you exactly what the book is. But like I said, for just in general, because like I said, certain books, like I said, I share books all the time, but I've had to learn not share everything because not everybody is ready for certain books are good for newbies and other books are not good for newbies. Like you know, certain books it takes a minute. And when it comes to certain spiritual things, certain books I don't want to put out there in case a newbie might come across this and read it and they're not ready for it. Because there's more explanation and more guidance that might come around with getting certain knowledge. So, like I said, if you're a newbie and you want to know what book that was that I read from, I will. I don't have a problem telling you one on one, but I'm not going to put it on this live because, like I said, there's other information in here. Like I said, that I don't want newbies. At least I don't want it on my conscience. If I said what the name of this book and the other activities in here, I would feel bad if a newbie got a hold of it because of watching this video and did something that might have fucked them up spiritually. So, like I said, I'm not going to put the name of the book out there because to me, the book is not for newbies. Um, but if you are a newbie and you're interested and you want guidance on it, please reach out to me and I will guide you through it. But that is my live for today. And like I said, this was mostly for the newbies. And it was also for me to explain the tarot readings that I did. But yeah, um, that is it. Until next time, good people.